We're going to be doing a complete brake job today on this 2006 Toyota Sienna. We're going to replace the pads and the discs. But first, let's go ahead, take this wheel off, and we'll dive right in. Here she is, looking a little rough. I'm going to start things off by pulling this bolt and this one right here. Slide those pins out to release the caliper. And then we're going to take off the caliper bracket by undoing this bolt and one on the back end back here. You want to undo this bolt first. Sometimes it'll have a retaining nut right here that's really on there tight. The problem is, as you can see, there's a washer right here, and you can't get an open-ended wrench in there because it's a little too skinny. So you just got to figure out the best tool that you can. This one, I had a pair of channel locks that fit right in there pretty nicely, held it while we undid that bolt. Now we're going to attempt to move the brake caliper, short line, brake line on it, so make sure you can bungee it if you want. I just like to lay them over the CV. Does the same thing. Pads aren't too bad. They're getting close. This little groove helps you out to know how much thickness you have left. Pull the disc brake right off. Now that we got the caliper bracket off, you take the pads out. We have these clips right here on the edge. Most brake kits are going to come with new clips. We're going to get this channel all cleaned up with a wire brush. In addition, we're going to pull these pins out. These look pretty good. Got a nice coating of grease on them. We'll clean them up, re-grease them, put them back in there. Go ahead and pop the clips out. Sometimes they can be a little stubborn. I try to lay things out on the bench the same way that they went in. So when I'm putting it all back together, I know which one. They look similar, but they're slightly different. You can tell this thin, that thick. Let's go ahead and take these off. Clean them up. Everything's looking good. Slide them back in. And there's a little lip, I'll show you on this one. The edge of the bolt. You want to make sure that is put in there correctly. Another bonus idiot tip of the day: clean off your disc before you put the caliper and the bracket and everything else on. You can put it on backwards there, clean the front side, clean the back side, and follow it up with cleaning the front. Put back on that nice bracket that you just put the newly greased pins and the new retaining clips on there. Tighten it to finger tight. Load your bracket up, the calipers. Take a small little bit of grease. Put it right there on the edge, or you can put it directly on your brake pad. Try not to get anything on the disc because you don't want to add any grease on there that'll cause it to slide. Make sure they're all nice and seated. Push that in. So in order to push the piston, which is right here, back into the caliper so it fits over the new brake pads, we got to push it back in manually. So we're going to use the old brake pad and a big C-clamp, start tightening it down. What I also like to do is open up the reservoir cap for the brake fluid up on the top, and the engine bay helps the pressure release a little bit nicer. We're gonna add just a little bit of grease to the outside of the piston ring, just to help. You could also put it directly on the pads. Now that's all ready to go. Flip it on over, and it should slide right on. May have to push these little bolts, little pins back in, and then just hand tighten these little bolts on there first. Finish tightening off your caliper bolts, caliper mounting bracket bolts. And there you go. Got the new pads, new disc, all on the Toyota here. Only thing we have left to do is finish up on the other side, get her down, pump the brakes a few times to make sure that you get to build up pressure so that your brakes work. Go out and seat them, speed up, slam on the brakes, do that 3 or 4 times to seat your brakes, and hopefully your braking system works well. If you got any questions, throw them in the comments. Make sure to subscribe. Dude.